The most wicked myth I have heard within the last few years would be this absurd myth called white privilege. This is a popular term often used as a communication tool to hold control over specific agendas and silence those that do not agree with the term. Let's jump back to the past, to 2015, where MTV created an actual documentary called White People that studies the white privilege and how it affects white people and other cultures. Just earlier this year, Netflix released a TV series called Dear White People. We have a group of students that are dealing with cultural bias, social injustice, misguided activism, and slippery politics, mainly highlighting an apparent post-racial society that we just simply do not live in here in America. This imaginary term has also sparked various issues of students academically around the entire country. In September 2017, a professor was caught giving his students extra credit on a white privilege assignment. The professor ended up handing out a white privilege checklist with over 20 different questions on it to persuade his students into thinking that racial privilege is actually a form of privilege. And that is just simply wrong to do that, because doing that makes your students start thinking that privilege is based on race. Depending on what race you are, you're going to have more or less privilege. One of the questions on the checklist stated, I can be late to a meeting without having the lateness reflect on my race, which is just completely ridiculous because all races are equal. Fortunately, this professor was fired in the state of California. During April earlier this year, the University of San Francisco started displaying campaign posters that were scattered across campus that said, check your privilege. Part of the campaign included a white privilege resource guide that was also given from the University of San Francisco. Now, this mainly focused on privilege, whiteness, and white allyship. Now, I'm not denying the factor that there is racism in the world, but when you start shifting a blame onto one specific race, solely based on the pigment of their skin for their outcome and how their whole entire life is going to be, then yeah, we have a big problem, and things will become dangerous fast if it continues on. If that continues to happen, people are just not okay with that. We have to be open-minded to discussion so that we can discuss these racial issues that still exist in our society. We have to overcome barriers around this by talking and communicating with each other before we start putting a permanent label onto one particular race just because we can't find a solution at this moment. The media plays it off that all white people are just born rich, that their parents just give them everything they want and need, and they're just set up for life. When in fact, white people struggle, experience hardship, violence, racism, can be born dirt broke, and you automatically judge them and say that they are privileged. Now listen, your race does not determine your outcome in life. Your actions do. Your race does not determine where you're going to go in life. Your decisions do. Decision making, your mind, your heart. That's what's going to determine what happens in your life. I plan on becoming a wonderful mother someday and plan on having children of my own in the future. Let me tell you, my children will not be ridiculed for being white. They will not be judged and have consequences for the birth of their race. I will not back down in the seriousness of this event. All races are equal and deserve no punishment of any kind, including a form of dehumanization through media, or specific targeting to students academically through education. We might all have different colored skin, but we are all human beings. Although this is my personal opinion, I do think that my opinions remain valid. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my video and stay tuned for more videos.